Wow. Here we go. January 19, 2018. The People's Republic of China now specifically requires that programs should not feature actors with tattoos or depict hip-hop culture. They will avoid anything that is vulgar or obscene. Wow. So I got a whole mouthful to say about this, but I haven't had my coffee yet, so if you guys are interested in just expat life in general in China, feel free to hop over to my Being an Expat in China video. Hey guys, this is Peace the Gypsy checking in. Believe it or not, I really tried to avoid making this video. Race is not something that I particularly enjoy talking about. It's a very touchy subject, and it took me a long time to really sit down and be able to make this video just because of that. Now, if someone asks me my opinion, I will definitely go in and tell them, but I feel like to really just voice your opinion, you're going to get a lot of backlash regardless, even from your own community. For example, I was on Facebook a few weeks ago, and there was a post. You know how Facebook will always show you posts that are kind of related to you or whatever. So I see a lot of stuff in Chinese. I see a lot of posts about China, and I saw one post that was about Africans in China and Chinese people trying to accept African people more or whatever. And the picture had an African guy marrying a Chinese woman. So I voiced my opinion on that, and I was just kind of like, well, I really hope so, because my experience being a black woman in China for 1 year hasn't been exactly pleasant. And most of it comes from the ignorance of Chinese people not really knowing a lot about people of color. So I just put in some examples like, oh, me being in the workplace, me being a teacher, I've been automatically looked at like, is she qualified enough just because of how I look? And a lot of the parents will ask if they can hear me speak English to see if my English is proper enough. So situations like that, people assuming that I'm African just because I'm a person of color, and then when I tell them I'm American, they're like, back to this post though, an African guy jumped on my post and he immediately started calling me a liar, saying that my experiences were over exaggerated. And I was just kind of laughing at the dude. I was like, really? Like, I really have the time to sit here and post on Facebook lies and over exaggerate my experiences? I don't have time for that. Like, that's ridiculous. Then people who have lived in China who aren't even people of color jumped on the post and started supporting me. They were like, dude, her views are valid. Like, even though we're not people of color, we've seen this happen to our colleagues or our fellow students who are people of color in China. And what ends up happening is a lot of Africans come to China to study, and you know, they get a lot of free money, and it ends up being a better option for them rather than their home countries within Africa. So when they come to China, China kind of becomes like the promised land to them. And if you say anything bad about China, then it's automatically like, how dare you? You're a liar. Your views are invalid or whatever. So that's a bit of a difference as far as a black American in China and an African in China. Some of the experiences are similar as far as how Chinese people react to us, because of course we look the same, we look similar, but I think that a lot of them tend to have rose-colored glasses on just because they've left their home countries for a better opportunity. Not to say my opportunity is the same or worse than America. I think I think I have a very good opportunity in China, but I didn't leave America. Oh God, that's a whole nother topic. I'm not gonna go into America right now because that is a whole nother topic. Some of the comments that I've heard about people of color in China have been just mind-blowing. They've been completely baffling to me, and that's because I've made friends with some Chinese people who speak English fluently, and I can kind of hear what their friends think. Their friends who haven't been around people of color, you know, what are their stereotypical views, I guess. So one of my friends told me that some of her Chinese friends who have not been around foreigners, period, they think black people are scary. I don't know where this comes from. Like, first of all, they don't really see a lot of black people in the media. They see basketball players. They watch a lot of NBA here. They know, some of them know who Beyonce is. But I just can't really see, like, if you have no frame of reference, how do you make such a bold statement about people you haven't even met, you know? Like, do you dance in the streets? Do you sing and dance in the streets in America? Like I'm a like show monkey or like circus freak or something like that. Like, where are they getting these views from? Like, I don't understand. So yeah, man, it's just been like the ignorance, man. It's been so. To go into the article that I was reading about, I have mixed feelings about it, because number one, it's one thing when you appropriate a culture. It's done all throughout Southeast Asia. You know, the whole hip-hop culture, they love it in Japan, they love it in South Korea, they even do it in China. But I kind of think that imitation is a form of flattery. So I don't really look down on it. My issue with this whole banning hip-hop culture, what's next? Y'all gonna ban basketball? I mean, a lot of them got tattoos. Like, y'all gonna ban all of this, you know? You're gonna have a lot of angry people because NBA is very popular in China. And I just don't understand what that's gonna really do, you know? If they're already ignorant about a culture and you ban more stuff from that culture, it's gonna create more ignorance, right? China, what are you doing? What are you doing? Chinese people don't understand that people of color have a different texture of hair, and it's just so shocking to them. You guys saw my salon video in China. I'm used to getting stares, but when I get laughed at, I just don't understand how that isn't considered rude in their culture. Like, my first reaction when I see someone who's not a clown, who's not deliberately trying to be funny, is not to laugh at them. I may have a shocked look on my face or something like that, but I was talking to one of my coworkers, and she's Caucasian, and she was kind of playing devil's advocate. She was like, well, do you think that maybe their laughter is just a genuine form of shock? And I was like, no, I can't. Like, I'm usually the one to give someone the benefit of the doubt, but in this scenario, I just can't see someone laughing out of shock. Like, laughing, it just comes off as rude to me whether I take myself out of it or not. You know what I'm saying? I think when you become an adult, you have to hold yourself accountable. Whether you're used to a certain culture or not, I think that you should go into it more respectfully. I guess that's what I'm saying, you know? If you have any questions, feel free to drop them below. I guess I should put a disclaimer. It might not be the same for everybody, but I do feel overall there has been just a strong ignorance of people of color in China, and I don't know if it's going to get any better anytime soon. So yeah, hope you guys doing well, and I will see you soon. Bye.